Do you find it difficult preparing for fantasy football? Look, there is a plethora of great content and great resources, but the goal of this video is to help condense and give you the best tips and strategies to be successful for the upcoming fantasy football season. Hey, if you're meeting for the first time, my name is Ivan Herrera. I'm a husband, I'm a father, and if you can relate to any of those two things, you know that time is of the essence, so we're gonna get right into it. The first tip I have for you is understand your league settings and league format. What do I mean by league settings? Well, for starters, understand how many teams do you have, what kind of scoring format do you guys offer, and then ultimately, what kind of league is it? Is this a redraft league where you have a brand new team every single season? Is this a keeper league where you get to keep one player or various players each year? Or is this a dynasty league where you get to keep the exact same team and manage that year in and year out? All these questions are very important so that you can develop and construct the best strategy going into that coming draft. And you also want to understand the scoring format. And the reason why this is important is because this will help you properly rank each position appropriately depending on the scoring format. For example, if you are in a PPR league, which is points per reception, you're going to obviously value wide receivers a little bit more than any other position. And you'll also value running backs that can provide receiving upside for you as well. Now that you got that taken care of, the next thing you're going to want to know is find the right strategy depending on where you're picking in the draft. If I can provide a recommendation for you guys out there, for those of you that run leagues, do me a solid. Give your league mates the opportunity to see where they're picking in advance. That way that gives them time to prepare for the upcoming draft. Now, assuming that you'll have the opportunity to know when you're picking in the draft, this now gives you the opportunity to help prepare and do various mock drafts. Now, if you're not familiar with mock drafts, these are some of the best tools that you can utilize so that way you can get a gauge of where particular players are going based on where the industry has them. And one tool that I love using is the Draft Wizard from Fantasy Pros. And the cool thing about this resource is that you can customize the mock draft to match that of the league that you are in. Plus, you can also choose where you want to pick. So then that way, if say, for example, you're picking third overall, you can do that in your mock draft. That way you can see what kind of strategy and what kind of players you would like to target with that pick. Now, before we get into the next tip, be sure to do me a favor and hit that like button if you're getting value. All right, cool. Tip number 3 is this one. Understand fantasy football rankings. Now, the reason why this is important is because I don't want you to think that the rankings from different analysts or content creators are not gospel truths. These are just barometers to see where they're valuing particular players in certain positions. Now, one mistake I did early on is I would follow rankings as if that was the Bible Belt of where I should be drafting players. But in reality, you want to see how can you leverage ADP, which is average draft position, to your advantage. And the reason why understanding rankings is important is because this will help you understand where players are being valued based on where the industry has them. Never use it as a way to draft, use it as a way to understand where players are going. And one basic thing that I did early on to help me leverage rankings is to just analyze players within those rankings and see what kind of opportunities they're going to be getting. Because talent plus opportunity will equal fantasy football success. Okay, we have 2 more tips. So the next one is going to be know your league mates. Now, this tip obviously works best if you are in a league that's had the same players year in and year out. Now, if you are in a new league, you can still actually take advantage of this tip. And one way that I would do that is by seeing what team do these guys root for. Now, for example, for myself, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. So any opportunity that I can have a Philadelphia Eagle on my fantasy team is going to be awesome because not only can I root for them in real life, but I can also root for them so that way they can get me points in fantasy football. Another example I can give you is that I've been in many leagues where you just know that certain players within your league are going to value certain positions. I've been in leagues where certain players actually value the running back position really heavily. So what I do to counter this is make sure that I capitalize by getting my wide receiver depth on point. And one way I'm able to capitalize on this is by maximizing in other positions that these players aren't able to because of their value in the running back position. Now, the last tip I'll give you to help you prepare in fantasy football is know when to swing for the fences. Look, it's great to play it safe, but we are here to win. We are here to play for first place. So sometimes in order to do that is by taking risks. Well, you don't want to take risks in the wrong part of the draft. Understand by being prepared. Remember, being prepared is what builds confidence. So the more that you mock draft, the more that you're seeing where players are going, you can then understand when to take those risks. For example, I highly recommend within the first few picks of your draft, those should be surefire picks that offer the highest floor with a huge ceiling. Now in the middle of the draft, that's where I like to shoot for the moon and see if I can take a risk with a pick or two by going for a player that maybe isn't as well known, or going for a player that is due for a potential breakout season. The main thing for this tip is to understand where players are going, so that that way you can see where you can take the risk at the appropriate time of the draft. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you got value in it, be sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing. That way you're up to date on all the videos that we are going to be dropping on this channel. And also, I want to hear from you. Which strategies have you implemented that have helped you be successful in fantasy football? Well, guys, continue being great. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.